Hi, hey, and all those other greetings to adventurers. I'm Jake Spins, welcoming you guys back to my gaming and unboxing channel, where today we have another exciting unboxing for you guys. So, as you guys may know, a few weeks ago, I got into kind of a Pikmin craze. I don't know why, but I just really craved Pikmin to the entire point where I ended up playing the entire game just in a day and then ended up in the same day recording a review slash unboxing of a red Pikmin. And yeah, that red Pikmin video, if you guys haven't seen it, make sure to check it out, because by this point it will be up. I haven't actually edited or uploaded it. But on the bright side, we do actually have a good old little Mr. Pikmin over here taking over the Koopa Empire. Just look at him. He doesn't give a crap. He's fighting Bowser right now, you know? He's fought Bowser. Emperor Bulblax? Nah, fam. You are no struggle. Bowser? No struggle either. So, hey, I guess the new threat to the Mushroom Kingdom are Pikmin. If Mario Golf has anything to say about it. But, you might be like, well, Spins, you covered Pikmin 1 and talked about the red Pikmin. Does that mean... No, it doesn't. I did not play Pikmin 2. I have played it, and Pikmin 2 is actually a pretty fun game as well. Granted, there's like a lot of differences, and it has been a while, but it is one of those games where I have been kind of hoping to play it on the channel at some point, but it's a big issue of Pikmin 2 being a very different game. If you didn't know, basically Pikmin 2 kind of sets off the same way as Pikmin 1 does, except for the fact that Pikmin 1 has a 30-day time limit, and you have to survive getting all your ship parts, and Pikmin 2 is greedy. More specifically in the fact of Olimar gets home from his death-defying journey, only to find out not only is his company going bankrupt, but his ship is being taken. That's right, you spent all of that time saving your life, saving your beloved, really old and rusty ship, only for loan sharks to be like, this ship looks tasty. No. Apparently that's how sharks eat. Same way books are closed. But if you close a book like this, I have questions. But, So, essentially, you end up getting a completely different ship, and the president's like, oh my gosh, this souvenir that you have, it's priceless, and is like a bottle cap or something. And he has you go out with your new recruit, Louie. That's right. Company's going bankrupt, but you still have a new employee somehow. I didn't think about that until now, but I'm really questioning that. But essentially, the cool thing about Pikmin 2 is that you actually have as much time as you need. You're constantly getting little notes from your family, or like thoughts about your family, and learning more lore about that. And the farther you go on, I think there's good, bad, neutral endings as well still. But you essentially could just play for hundreds and hundreds of days and never have the game end. The big issue with Pikmin 2, however, is the fact that you do have that, but there's a lot of treasures. There's also a few other things introduced inside of Pikmin 2, such as the introduction of dungeons, which you can not actually get extra Pikmin in. You bring in 100, most likely at that point, at least I usually do, Pikmin, and yeah, you lose a Pikmin, it's gone. There's no daytime system, so you can't just wait until the end of the day. You can exit. However, it's pretty much you go through the full thing, or you completely fail and just completely get demolished with all of your Pikmin dead, as well as Olimar dead. You can, of course, just jump into the next pit, skipping a bunch of treasures, but the whole point of going through the dungeon is to actually collect all of the treasures. So not doing that would be just a huge sad waste. Fortunately, though, you can actually still reset the day even through being in there, so that's a plus. There's also 2 new Pikmin that are actually added inside of that dungeon. Well, 2 different dungeons, being a white Pikmin, which is poisonous, has red eyes, and uncovers stuff, and then purple Pikmin. They're like these like huge Pikmin, and they're super strong. They're like Wario, but purple as a Pikmin. And it's great. Like, seriously. I love the purple Pikmin. Like, they're super strong in Smash Brothers. And they're just super, super helpful. And there's also one item where you need 100 purple Pikmin. Which, if I ever am able to do that, sounds so satisfying. Well, there's also 2 separate parts of Pikmin. And that second part I was talking about is in the second half of Pikmin. Essentially, Alamar's dip, and spoilers, forgets Louie on the planet, and then you bring the president with you to rescue Louie. The other cool thing about this is that because you have Louie / the president, you're actually having 2 separate captains to be able to micromanage everything that you can switch from. So if you want to have 50 Pikmin with Almar and 50 Pikmin with Louie, you can. If you want to have a squadron of Reds to deal with fire stuff, but you still need those blue Pikmin to get through something, you can still do that, and you can just do it at ease. And it's one of the quality of life changes that I really, really like. Strangely enough, though, no co-op. That one, I still don't understand that one. Especially since there's a multiplayer mode where you verse each other. And Pikmin 3 still never added co-op. If it ever gets put on the Switch, Nintendo, please give it co-op. It's just the co-op Pikmin would just be amazing. Unless they think it'll break it. But I don't care. I just think it'll be amazing. But anyway, though, what we are here to talk about is not the white or the purple Pikmin. However, we are talking about something that got quite a change inside of Pikmin 2. That being the yellow Pikmin. Now you might be like, well, the yellow Pikmin in Pikmin 1 were pretty much useless. You could throw them up high, and you had bomb rocks. Well, essentially one thing that is not special about these Pikmin anymore is that they can't carry bomb rocks. Well, they're not the only ones that can carry bomb rocks, because every Pikmin can blow things up. Yeah, that's right. Any Pikmin can just pick up a bomb rock and just explode walls. I'm sorry, buddy. You're not special. To most players, me, you are very special. I just really, really like you. Sing. But if you thought that they were super useless in Pikmin 1 and probably only had like 15, you pretty much only needed 15, maybe like 30 or 40, which is unfortunate. They're not as useless inside of Pikmin 2 because they lost their bomb rock carrying abilities specifically to them to add a new element. Electricity! Yes, something that actually makes sense, because rocks that are bombs are not an elemental thing. And I still have no idea why they did that. But now you essentially have different things like firewalls, you have walls underwater, and then you have these electric walls as well as electric enemies. They still can be thrown up high, they're still neutral fighters, but they actually have an elemental purpose, and I love it. Yeah. So let's open this guy up and go through him. So as I said, generally have not played Pikmin 2 yet, but I figured since, second Pikmin type that you get, I figured we'd talk about it because it's super, super nice and super cool. Generally, you can get this Pikmin type with a Bulborb as well. I just didn't do that just because I wanted to get some free shipping stuff and I just couldn't find the combo at the time of buying this. But I do have plans on doing that. And if that involves me having an extra yellow Pikmin, I don't mind. I really don't. One will be free, one will be chowed on. Which is unfortunate because I also really like the yellow Pikmin. So, yeah. But anyway, though, the yellow Pikmin, pretty much similar in design to the red Pikmin, except for the fact that his pointy triangle nose has split into two and gone to the side of his head, and now he can listen to music. Yeah, that's right. He can just put in some earbuds and listen. Honestly, I feel like I would prefer to be able to listen to music and like hear instead of smelling, because like smells, sure, there's good smells. More commonly, there's just bad smells, and I guess in a way I just feel like I relate more to this Pikmin just because half the time I can never smell anyway, but I have super sensitive hearing. So, maybe that's why I really like the yellow Pikmin, other than just the color. But going into the actual plush, as stated before, the body, the fabric, it's the same. The eyes, you have the same stuff. So if you guys want to see about that stuff, that's more so going to be in the red Pikmin one, but you've still got your, consistency with the soft fabric, hard eyes, as well as the flat hands and flat feet. However, something that I find really, really super cool with these releases is that the red one has a leaf, this yellow one has a bud, and then the blue one, it has nothing. It doesn't exist. No, I'm kidding. It would have, a flower. And I just think that's super, super cool. I think there's different evolutions for each, but being able to have, the second evolution for the second Pikmin that you get, and talking about the second game, it's a nice thing. We've run out of seconds though because we've now jumped over 2. So that's very, very unfortunate. But something that I don't think I covered in the red Pikmin video is how the system actually works. Essentially, it's, pretty much like a leveling up system, except for the fact that you can lose it. Leaves are the weakest, they're slower. Buds, they're a little bit stronger, a little bit faster. And then the flowers make them stronger, make them faster. I think make them trip less. I think Pikmin 2 got rid of tripping. I'm not sure. Be kind of funny since Pikmin 2 and Brawl were the closest releases. So Pikmin's tripping mechanic went over to Brawl, I guess. I don't know. But you get that from eating nectar. But let's look really quickly at this little bulb. So one issue I'm already having is the fact that it's legitimately a wrecking ball for this plush. Yeah, it kind of looks like a turnip, which is fair enough. But this little turnip is arching on this stem, and whereas the leaf, you had it like this, this has weight to it. This is stuffed, all right? This isn't, just a bunch of like flat fabrics just stitched together, and if you squish it together, it just, goes flat. No, this is literally a ball of just fabric and stuffing. And it's that hard fabric too. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense because like hitting wise, it does more damage. Doesn't go forward though. And if I keep trying, it's just going to fling half of the Pikmin across the room and then I won't be able to post this video. It would be very, very unfortunate. But yeah, I find this decision really interesting. Like, proportion-wise, sure, it makes sense. Evolution-wise, yes, it makes sense. But it also just makes the Pikmin's head lean back super, super far. And it just looks super uncomfortable. And I feel really bad for this Pikmin. Like, am I going to even be able to stand this on something? No, I'm not. Because it's going to be like one of those figures where like one thing is heavier than the other part. Like this part is literally thicker and heavier than the entire plush. So it's just dipping out. Like the plush should actually just stand like this. Just saying. But looking at the detail itself, you have, just the bud, which basically just a ball with some stitching. It's probably, so far, I like the leaf design better just because it looks better, but it just has a better plush type of design, whereas this really doesn't. It has some flaws to it, which is unfortunate. This time it's actually on the tip of the stem as well, which is branched out by the actual like leaf part of the stem, which is super cool. It has a harder fabric than the leaf itself, probably to show, that's a harder part to be more sturdy for it, but also because the fabric would need to be tougher to withstand the turnip wrecking ball that is this thing. And honestly, the only other really thing to really talk about is his little tiny ears. So, well, I guess they're not tiny. They're pretty massive for Pikmin wise. But this is what makes him cute. Isn't he adorable? Don't you just want to love this Pikmin? Please. Please appreciate this Pikmin. Like, I really, really like this Pikmin from the color and the ears. He's adorable. Come on. Somebody else say that this guy's their favorite. I would really appreciate that. But the ears themselves, sorry, more tangents, but the ears themselves are actually softer than the plush's fabric, which is weird. It's like double softness. And I'm very confused about this. Like, extremely. I don't know if it's because, like, it's flatter, but you can tell it's a different material. The inside of the ear is actually an orange fabric. So it's slightly darker. It's harder to tell on camera. But if you look at the back of the ear, you can kind of also tell the fabric is different there as well. And you can see, like, a slight color change. It's not very noticeable, but it's just enough noticeable, at least for me, to where you can see it's a little bit darker just by a pinch. And I think that's just because it has this softer texture. I don't know if it's just because there's not that stuffing so it feels softer and it looks darker, especially since, you have this darker fabric in front and you'd have like more light likely to go through it because it's flat, it's not solid. As you can see, you could just do this of play with his little ear, just have the time of your life, and nothing happens. Like, no rebound, no consequences. It's just fun, But you can see it's flat. But yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much all that there really is to talk about for this. Oh, this is 03? Huh. It's weird. I wonder what the other Pikmin plush types are. Oh, Alimar's 01. Okay. I don't know how that unboxing would go if I get Alamar. Because ironically, I don't have him. But I'd figure something out. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't as necessarily like it was a little bit harder to do this one just because there was a lot of stuff that we covered in the red Pikmin plush video. So I figured I'd just go over, the differences between Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2. It's not really a retrospective because I didn't play it. So it's really not a review. Like, I didn't recently play it. But hey, information's always a great thing. And I just really like this yellow Pikmin, and I've just been really into Pikmin lately, as well as hoping for more Pikmin. Please, Sakurai. Not Sakurai. That's not your creative Pikmin. Please, Miyamoto. Please make more Pikmin. Because, like, this guy, He's so cute. Oh my god, he's so cuddly. He really is so cuddly. This is how you display a Pikmin plush, like up against a wall. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you guys think about the Pikmin series as well as this. And let me know, how did I do? As I said, unfortunately, there's a lot of repetitive information about one plush to another. You know, they're both Pikmin. They're both soft, same fabric, same generation. But yeah, I just think it's super cool. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next episode. Keep yourself safe. Sorry, I don't have any funny, like, extra outro thing. I mean, I usually just shove the plush in the camera for 20 seconds. Just so I don't have to add, like a little outro thing. But, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna leave you guys to it. If you're still here, then I applaud you. But you won't be in a second.